I'm Jess. I'm a fitness instructor and content creator sharing my love of athleisure wear, body inclusive fitness, and New York City. And this is Jess McKay Live, the podcast where I answer your questions about life, Lululemon, and love. Self-love. Let's get into it. Welcome to episode 4 of Jess McKay Live. When we started this, we didn't know if it was going to be a weekly thing, but we're already on week 4, so that's kind of exciting. It's like our 1 month anniversary, I guess. And as always, I've got my co-host here, Ryan.
Hello.
How's it going, Ryan?
It's good. I feel like this is just going to be like one of our drives in the car where we just talk about social media the whole time.
Oh my God, I love it.
You have like structure and questions this time.
Yeah, we've got a little guidance. So today's episode, as Ryan said here, is about social media. So this is going to be a huge conversation. We're going to have to do multiple episodes about this. But today we are going to be answering your questions. And I've got a lot of questions here. So if we don't even get to all of these, again, we'll do a part 2. But this conversation is going to evolve and change. And
right. If we had done this 2 years ago, it would have been totally different.
Absolutely. So I just can't wait to get started. So before we get into those questions, let's just do a few updates. If you're listening to this, you probably love Lululemon. And I will also add, this is not a sponsored podcast, but if you are shopping at Lululemon, you can support me by using the link in the description of this video, in my bio on TikTok. And if you're on my text list, the links that I send you there are also my affiliate links. And I appreciate so much everyone who has used my link. It helps me to keep creating this content, to keep going, and just share our love for Lululemon.
Also, shout out to people that are listening. We have a lot more people on YouTube than on Spotify, but there's definitely some that have listened to every episode. So shout out to the podcast listeners, because that would be me if I was listening to this podcast and not on it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. But yeah, wherever you're listening to this, I appreciate you. Thank you, friends. So just a few updates. Tuesday's drop. Lululemon. I feel like a lot of people were disappointed. It's just nothing special.
Yeah, you were excited about the Invigorate pant.
Oh my gosh, yes. We haven't had new Invigorate high-rise tights in a year. We haven't had new colors.
Yeah, so you got some last week.
Yes, I got the poolside.
And then another drop this week. So that's very cool that they're doing your favorite thing. 2
new colors, the magenta purple and the charged indigo Invigorate high-rise tight. And for anybody who doesn't know, that is a great workout tight. It's the Everlux fabric, so it is really good, fast drying, quick drying, and has a draw cord so they don't fall down. And these ones are just like the Wonder Train, but with pockets. And who doesn't like pockets?
So I actually didn't even make a new release for men video.
Oh yeah, you're slacking. What happened, Ryan?
There just wasn't very much. It probably would have been like 4 items, and then here's everything from Lululemon Lab.
With that being said, there were a lot of items from the Lululemon Lab collection. So I sometimes get questions about this. What is Lululemon Lab? And we actually went digging on the website to figure out Lululemon's stance on this. And it looks like they've created a new promotional video about it. And it says that Lululemon Lab is technically minded clothing that is fashion focused.
Yeah, and experimental.
Experimental. Yes, that was the big word. Everyday experimental. I feel like all of their fabrics, all of their clothing, their designs are always technically focused no matter what. But some things are going to be more technically focused than other things, like the brand new hiking collection that dropped last week. That is really technically focused. If you're someone who's wearing Lululemon more casually and you're not really a hiker, I could see why those items are not really beneficial to you. But they're still very cute. So I'm still tempted to get that one short sleeve buttoned shirt, the grid thing. I'm into it. But I don't go outdoor hiking. So, I mean, that's the only kind of hiking you do. But indoor hiking, I don't know what that would be.
Is that like putting obstacles on your treadmill that you have to like step over? You put tape rocks to your treadmill and then...
I mean, someone's going to do it. There's probably VR hiking.
Oh, sounds great.
Ryan would be into that. But I did get the crossbody, the patch logo crossbody, and that is going to be in an upcoming video of mine. So stay tuned. This podcast should be posted before you're going to get to see that. So make sure to stay tuned. I've got a really exciting video. Ryan and I did the filming for it yesterday.
Got up super early, went to Brooklyn Bridge Park. I fell in love with Brooklyn Bridge Park.
Oh my gosh, it was so fun. Ryan's ready to move to Brooklyn. I mean, he was ready to move to Brooklyn before we moved here, and then we didn't move there. So I think we're going to move to Brooklyn. Maybe. We'll see. Stay tuned. But that bag was amazing. So I can't wait to share with you the Patch logo crossbody.
It's like a great color pattern as well, because I feel like it could go with so many things. You had like completely different color palettes in the two different outfits that you wore, and it totally went with both.
Absolutely. It goes with my color palettes, at least.
I mean, yeah.
Sonic pink, poolside, charged indigo. I feel like it even has like a little highlight yellow for the zipper. Mm-hmm. So if you had some highlight yellow, it would be cute.
I think there was a like wild mint on the zipper as well.
Yes.
The other
oh my
zipper.
Gosh. Anyways, stay tuned. And then just for me this week, my video on TikTok about being an educator in 2019 and then discovering the Align tank, it hit over 1 million views this week, which is wild. And the hangers that I use, I feel like that's a lot of the time I go viral is when I use those hangers. People really like the look of those hangers. So I also got questions about where did I get those hangers? And I do have them linked in my Amazon storefront that we could put a link to here as well.
First ones that we found were in HomeSense.
Yes, in Canada.
What's the equivalent here?
It would be like is it Home Goods or TJ Maxx?
Like a home section at TJ Maxx?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that.
So that means that it's an unreliable source.
Right. It's always changing.
Go back a week or two later and it'll be different. So it's nice that we found them on Amazon.
Yes.
To be able to get more as more Align tanks make their way into our closets.
And the Align bodysuits. I just did this. I feel like I need to make a video on it, but I've been hanging my Align bodysuits on these hangers too, and it saves so much space. So hot tip, Align bodysuits on these hangers too. Amazing. And the other video I wanted to talk about was the tutu tank video, the vintage tank. That video is almost at 1 million views.
I'm going to get an updated.
Yeah, let's get an updated number.
Updated number right now.
And I'm sure it will change, but Ryan's going to get an updated number right now.
944,000.
All right, friends. Is it going to hit 1 million?
Sure seems like it.
It looks like it. And the irony is I didn't even film it. I did edit it and I created the TikTok, but that was from Ryan's parents.
Thanks,
who
Mom.
Unboxed it
and
for
Dad.
us. Thanks.
The first thing that we realized is that like Mom's doing a great job of doing the unboxing and showing the details of it. And then I realized it hit me. My dad is operating the camera and like zooming in on the details as well. I was like, they're a great team too, just like us.
I know. I was like, look at them. They're going to be the next influencers in the family. But the last thing that I wanted to talk about in just general updates is something really cool happened yesterday. And if this person is listening to this podcast, say hello. But someone commented on a video of mine and they found my video by searching on Google. And this is an appropriate conversation for today because this episode is about social media. So ranking on Google is something that I feel like a lot of people talk about when it comes to social media with blogs. Bloggers like to rank on Google, of course, because it's your website, Pinterest, and things where you want to show up on Google to help direct people to your business or your social media presence. And I had heard that TikTok was going to start ranking, like was going to start showing on Google, but I just hadn't really seen it or practiced it.
Right, and we had been
myself.
thinking about TikTok SEO for like searching within TikTok.
Right, and SEO is search engine optimization.
Yeah.
Something that a lot of people talk about for blogs as well, where you use certain keywords, and depending on how competitive a keyword is, means that you might show up in people's searches. So we were thinking about it within the app of TikTok, but it's even beyond TikTok. We showed up on Google, which is so cool. Anyways, just thought that was a fun, nerdy little thing. And maybe next time you're searching on Google, see what shows up. Maybe TikTok videos show up for you too. And it's TikTok videos about the subject. Like, that's what's really exciting. And if you wanted to search that, it was Googling Lululemon heat press. And it was my video about the heat press that you can get on your Lululemon at the Fifth Avenue store in New York City. So go check that out. If you want to Google it, you can find me. Next up, I've got my Lululemon Spotlight of the Week. This is a segment where I talk about one specific Lululemon item that I'm really jazzed about. And this week, it's the commission long sleeve. I didn't do this one already, did I?
I don't think so.
I'm so jazzed about it. I'm worried I talked about it already. But even if I did talk about it, I'm going to talk about it again because this is now my third commission long sleeve I've added to my collection. So I started with the commission long sleeve in white. Then I got the one that was sort of a denim wash color. And the third one now is this gorgeous purple color. And it also kind of looks like sort of like a denim wash. But since it's not blue, it doesn't really look like denim. So it's kind of just I forget the exact color of it. It is the Vintage Plum Enzyme Dye. So it is a dye, but not like denim wash. But anyways, Vintage Plum. I love it. I'm so excited. And the reason why I love it is because I can wear it so many different ways. And a lot of people, or a lot of probably women, have not thought of the commission long sleeve because it's technically in the men's section at Lululemon. But when I first worked at Lululemon as an educator, we were given the challenge of creating outfits and then talking about them. Like, that was in our training. And I created an outfit and we were encouraged to make one for the women's section and the men's section. So I had to try on men's clothing. And I think that was a really important exercise because you have to kind of think outside the box these days, especially when so many items can be styled so many different ways. I feel like sometimes it's arbitrary if it's a men's item or a women's item, depending on what it is and if it's technically focused. Like, I understand some things, pockets and different areas of the body need to be sort of designed in a different way with the clothing.
So, for example, the Pride shirts.
Yes.
Jess's Pride shirt that she got, I feel like it actually fits me better than the men's shirt that I got.
Right. And who says that Ryan can't wear that shirt? It's just an oversized t-shirt. It looks great on him. It looks great on me. But I just feel like we need to be, as a society, more open to the idea of buying from all sections of the store. And if it feels good, then it's good. And the commission long sleeve is one of those for me. So I wear blouses, or I have in the past, over top of dresses, bodysuits, and I like to wear them to go out to shows, walking around New York City. So I thought, wait a minute, why am I not trying the commission long sleeve? I bought a blouse from Marshall's because I was just searching for something quick and I had to make an outfit. And then I realized, wait, I've never tried Lululemon's button-down shirt. So I tried the commission long sleeve, was so blown away by it. It has stretch to it, like so many items at Lululemon. So I like to wear mine tied up in front. And because this material is actually stretchy, when I tie it, it's like perfect because it's not like I'm stretching out the fabric, like it stretches itself. So I really feel comfortable with wearing that in that way. You can also tuck it in, you could button it up, and tuck it in to a court rival skirt. And this is where I think maybe I talked about this in the previous episode just because we styled it with different things. But anyways, I just wanted to say I got my third commission long sleeve because I love it that much. And there's just so many different ways to wear it. So that's my Lululemon Spotlight for today. Commission long sleeve. And for reference, I wear size large. Whereas in the women's section, I wear size 12, maybe 14 for shorts, maybe 10 for leggings or 12 for leggings. But sizing's confusing, and that's a whole different conversation.
Okay, now it's time for some icebreaker questions that came from the TikTok live while we were recording this.
All right.
First question. What do you think about the new Always Effortless jacket?
The Always Effortless jacket is a jacket I love. I have it in the closet. And just yesterday, Tuesday, new releases at Lululemon, they released an updated version of it, and I'm not sold on it. It has like a snap flap on the front, and I don't know, it's not my favorite compared to the old one. But I feel like for the purpose of this jacket, it probably is going to serve the same purpose, which is a nice like in between. It's not too hot, not too cold. It'll be good when it's raining. But yeah, the new updates to it, I don't know, I'm not sold on it.
What is your favorite neighborhood in New York City?
Ooh, so I have lived in New York City before, lived in Hell's Kitchen, lived on the Upper West Side, and there's so many different areas. I now work in the West Village, but I would say still my favorite, if I were to choose to live, would be Upper West Side. It's just like less chill. I mean, more chill than Midtown, but still fun, and yeah.
What is your favorite takeout spot?
I feel like favorite takeout spot, we've talked about this, that I love sushi. We keep going to sushi, getting that takeout. But I've also really been liking Harlem Shake. Their burgers are really great. And if you like Shake Shack, Shake Shack's great too. But if you happen to be anywhere around Harlem, try Harlem Shake.
And I have been on Sunday just to do like a carry-out order, and they have wonderful like jazz music playing. What is your favorite Trader Joe's item?
Ooh, probably the chocolate peanut butter cups. But also, I saw it in so many TikToks, but then we've only had it a couple times, but like the bread cheese, it's kind of like halloumi. I thought that was really good too.
If you had to sleep in a Lululemon item, what would it be?
Probably the inner glow shorts, and I don't know if it's too tight, but the Align bra. And I mean, you shouldn't really wear a bra to bed, but maybe just like an all yours crop tee, something like that.
If you were a Lululemon color, what would you be?
Okay, so my favorite color from Lululemon, people ask all the time, is ripened raspberry. But if I was a color, like me, who I am, I think it would be sunray yellow.
What's your favorite Apple product?
Ooh, I guess my instinct is the iPhone. But if I were to choose something other than the iPhone, I think it would be the AirPods Pro. I love the noise canceling option on the AirPods Pro. And it's between that and the Apple Watch.
What is your favorite snack food?
Favorite snack food? I think it's Smart Food popcorn.
What is your favorite weird food combination?
Ooh, this is going to be weird. But vinegar on chicken.
And that does it for our icebreaker questions.
Woo! I hope you got to know me a bit better. I like vinegar on chicken. I'll clear that up. When I used to eat at Swiss Chalet, I put vinegar on the fries because just like fish and chips, you put vinegar on fries. That is like the thing to do. And I would also put vinegar on the chicken, but then also have this chalet sauce, which is kind of like a barbecue sauce. Very confusing, very weird, but I love it.
I think it's time for the main questions of this episode.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Get into
social media. Woo!
How did you start in social media, and is it your full-time job?
Wow. So social media it's so many things, but I first started as a hobby with Ryan, starting an account for our dog, Iggy Adelaide. You can find us on Instagram at Iggy Adelaide. And from there, it just kind of grew. We started blogging, we started a podcast, and then we started a TikTok, which grew twice the size of our Instagram following in half the time. And we started doing influencing. So influencing with that account kind of gave us the sort of, I guess, like negotiating skills and like what you would need to start thinking as an independent content creator, what you want from a brand and all of those things to turn it into a business. So I think that got us thinking like, oh, this could be a business. And then we also started creating content specifically for a company that we loved so much named Doggy Bathroom. And we started doing like influencing campaigns with them specifically. All while that was happening, I started JK McKay on TikTok. And that is where I really learned to grow based on what my audience wanted, as opposed to, of course, people love cute dogs. But with JK McKay, I was able to grow and talk about topics that I could talk a little bit more than dog training and what it was like to be a pet mom. So started growing on TikTok. And then I had already joined the Lululemon Collective. So if anyone doesn't know what that is, I think we discussed it last week, but the Lululemon Collective is the affiliate program for Lululemon influencers. So I started that program even before I really had grown a following on JK McKay. And JK McKay was also my handle on Instagram. So I always had a presence on Instagram. A lot of that is my friends and family, plus now the fitness community that I have gotten to know since being a fitness instructor for the last 5 years. And now it's also grown to add some of my Lululemon community, which is really cool. So if you don't follow me on Instagram yet, make sure to follow me there. You can DM me there. And I post very similar content to what I do on TikTok, but I guess it's just a little less unfiltered. I don't want to say it's filtered because it's not physically filtered, but it's just, I don't post there as often. So you're not getting as much of the unfiltered video content that you get from me on TikTok. So started growing JK McKay. And then I know I had a video where I was reaching out to Lululemon and I got in contact with Lululemon, and that's how I am also doing content that is sponsored and approved by Lululemon. So when you see me do videos that say sponsored and approved by Lululemon, those are directly approved and sponsored by Lululemon. And that has been really fun for me as well. So that is something that's added on to my JK McKay activities and my brand building. I grew a YouTube account as well, which is very exciting. Now I have a text list and an email newsletter. And now this podcast. So I feel like that's the trajectory of where we've been on this social media journey. Anything to add, Ryan?
I think the one thing that will help put this into context is that when I met you, you were already known, like within your friend groups, for like posting more than the average person on your personal Instagram account. Like you would post 3 or 4 pictures a day on Instagram. So I feel like when TikTok came around, it was like perfect for your personality. You're like, I've only posted twice today.
Oh my gosh, I want to post more.
I want to post 9 or 11 times.
It's true. I do. But the second part of that question was, is this full time? And I don't talk about this too often, and not really a reason not to, but this has turned into a full-time job for me. And it's also because I do this influencing for Lululemon with my own account. I have done a few sponsored posts for other brands. I still sometimes do sponsored content with Iggy Adelaide. And Ryan and I work together running the TikTok of Doggy Bathroom. So that's the company that we started a relationship with as influencers. And then we ended up having a conversation with them, getting to know them really well, and realizing that they wanted a TikTok account and we knew how to make TikTok content surrounding their product, surrounding their lifestyle. So we actually work for Doggy Bathroom now as their TikTok content creators. And it's so much fun. I really love creating content for Doggy Bathroom. We've had a lot of viral videos recently, and we've grown them from basically
like a couple hundred
followers to over 10,000 followers in 6 months. That kind of gives us a little glimpse into more than just content creation, because we sit in on marketing calls and we also have our own TikTok like catch-ups bi-weekly. But it's been a really great experience doing that, because I feel like we come from both the influencer side of things, but then we're also getting to hear what it's like from the company's perspective and how a TikTok can be used for business and not just like a personal brand. because that's what JK McKay is. That's a personal brand of mine. And this doggy bathroom company was already an established brand, and we're adding TikTok content for them.
How do you balance a creator life versus a normal life?
Ooh, this is normal life. That's a great question. I feel like Ryan said, I have always been known to post a lot of my life on the internet. And it just comes naturally to me. I feel like I've always loved taking photos when I went on family vacations with my family. My dad was huge on taking pictures and making memories. So I think I picked that up from him, and I'm a lot like my dad. We call me the 2.0 of my dad. And I feel like social media is just this extension of my desire to sort of capture memories and document things. So I do feel like I am documenting my life through TikTok, through YouTube, through all of these different channels that we have. Right now, we're documenting my life. This is a point in our life that Ryan and I live in New York City right now, and we're doing Lululemon influencing, and it's just a nice thing for me to be able to remember it by. And so I feel like there is a difference between documenting life and then also like creating content specifically and having that focused on a brand or a job or a specific post. So it does get hard sometimes to turn it off. Ryan and I worked last night until 11 p.m. because I just wanted to finish editing a video. I just wanted to finish making 3 more TikToks for something else. And it's tough because you do feel like you're working a lot, and people don't see that. People don't really think that content creation is like a real job. I think a lot of people think it's just all fun and games, which it is so much fun. And I love the creativity, and I love being able to do something new every day, create fresh new stuff. But I don't know, it is kind of hard to turn off. And I think the reward comes when you just get to choose your breaks. So what is real life? What is creator life? All the times off camera, we get to do what we want.
I remember reading a Twitter thread recently that was talking about work habits since work from home has started. And the biggest change, there's now 3 spikes of work. There's kind of the mid-morning spike before lunch. There's the mid-afternoon spike after lunch. And then there's like a 9 p.m., 10 p.m. kind of spike when it's like, okay, I've done everything. Maybe my kids are in bed. Maybe we've watched everything on TV we want to. Like Big Brother is done. So now what are we going to do? Well, we're going to work for another hour because we have some things that we didn't finish and we can work on them at home. So I feel like that has definitely influenced our habits of like whether or not we're working at home, but I don't mind it. Like you said,
I love the freedom of that. I love the freedom of taking an afternoon off, knowing that I might end up working at 10 p.m. at night. Like that doesn't bother me. And I think that comes from me being an actor, being in musical theater. A lot of the time you're working really hard at super random times of day. Like maybe you woke up at 6 a.m. or 4 a.m. to sign up for an audition, and you audition, and then at 2 in the afternoon, you're done and you don't know what to do with the rest of your day, or you have a shift at a different work or anything like that. And then maybe you've got shows at night. Maybe you've got rehearsals. Maybe it's tech week and you're doing a 12-hour rehearsal day.
Yeah,
like there are really long days.
That's what just made me think of is like the phrase like day job, like keep your day job, which implies you have a night job.
Right. Yeah.
It just happens that our day and night job are the same thing.
Right. And so I think that is something true as well. There are a lot of content creators out there who maybe do the same amount of work that we do that also still have 9-to-5 corporate jobs. And that is amazing. And I'm always astounded by people who can juggle both. And I'm not saying that you have to quit your corporate job to start pursuing something like this. Absolutely not. You have to keep in mind that Ryan and I are actors, and it was the pandemic and we needed to start something and we wanted to pursue this more seriously once we started to pick up momentum. But it doesn't mean you can't pick up momentum while you're also still at a full 9 to 5 corporate life job. So I think that is also a misconception. Like, oh, I have to quit my day job so I can become a full-time influencer. No, our day jobs just would have been something else besides acting. And then once we got an acting job, you either put the day job aside or you find a new day job once the acting gig's over. And that's just kind of the lifestyle that we came from. So after coming from that gig worker mentality, I think content creation feels more stable. Content creation, even if I am working at 10 at night editing a video, feels way more consistent than when I was doing acting more consistently.
Yeah, a friend of yours that the last time we saw her was right before she was about to go on tour for a show. That feels like it was last week, and now she's already auditioning for the next show.
Exactly. And you might have...
It was like 6 weeks ago or more, but it feels like that.
You might have gigs lined up, but then you don't know what you have for that in-between time. And that's when actors take, different kinds of work. And sometimes people do one-off gigs, small gigs to fill up the time and to make money. But yeah, this content creation thing, even though it's also sporadic, if you are relying on sponsored posts, sponsored branded deals from different sponsors, you don't have a relationship with just one, or you are searching for sponsorship, it is very similar to being an actor. Like, you're waiting for the next big contract, but what do you do in the in-between time? So the other part of that is I'm also a fitness instructor. So yes, I am a full-time content creator, but I'm also a fitness instructor. And that is something I've done for the last 5 years, almost 6 years, coming up this year. And it's something I did while I was still pursuing acting and was doing shows. I would still be able to teach. And it's just something, a part of my life that I love so much. No matter how much content I create, I don't think I'll ever give that up.
What inspired you to start growing your online community?
Well, I started growing my online community, and honestly, the community inspired me. It started small. I started with my TikTok 12 followers. I don't know where they came from. It was probably just you and a couple friends, and then, my very first followers. And I started posting more about fitness. And then that kind of grew into Lululemon. And now I love making content about Lululemon, but also my lifestyle, and also creating content for brands and just being more adventurous with my content. And it's not that I don't love doing Lululemon content, and I continuously do Lululemon content, but I like to expand beyond just that as well and just see where we could go with this.
Any tips for growing a presence on social media?
If you are looking to get into social media, I know I have a blog post about this, but I'll just give you the sort of Cole's Notes version of it. Find something you're super interested in. Find something that you love that you could talk about forever. Find a platform that you really like. If it's TikTok, amazing. I'll see you there. Tag me. Let me know you listen to this podcast. But also just something you can stay... everyone says consistent, but I'm going to say something you can stay curious about. Something you can talk about, can do. And if that's your own life, I love that. Sometimes people do just rants on TikTok about something that comes up in their life. And it's like a consistent sort of segment in their videos where they're just talking about a topic or a new topic every week or a new thing they bought at the store. And I feel like if you can just stay curious about that, and you always want to ask questions, you want to reach out to your community, you want to find a community, then you're on the right track.
Any tips specifically for getting more reach on TikTok?
So TikTok, in my opinion, is the best platform if you want to get discovered. And by discovered, I mean find more people and grow an account. So tips that I would have would be continue to create content, be experimental, be curious, like I said. And also, if something does work for you, go with that feeling, go with that type of video, go with that content, and then keep building and expanding beyond that. So if you do end up going viral for something you didn't expect, but it's something you're really interested in, absolutely continue to talk about it. But it doesn't mean you always go viral for the things you want to. Sometimes people go viral and then they feel stuck, like they have to produce content in one small, tiny pigeonholed niche. And if that's how you feel, you don't have to go with that viral video. You can branch out. And if people are following you, if you have a newfound following and they don't like your other content, then they're just not for you. And if they unfollow, like, that's in your best interest. You want people who are interested in what you want to post. So yes, a niche can help get you pushed out to other people that like that interest too, but don't feel confined to a niche. And a niche is just something that's really specific, a specific topic. And this is something we talked about on the live earlier. We had a little pre-podcast recording live, but there was a really great video from Gary Vaynerchuk. He is on TikTok. He's also on YouTube. He's everywhere. And he's an author. He's a speaker. He's fantastic. If you don't follow him, go follow him now. If you're interested in social media, he is absolutely like one of the top people out there to take advice from, in my opinion. He's a forward thinker. He has been for years. Ryan's a huge fan. Do you have anything to add once I'm giving a spiel about Gary Vee?
Oh, just the fact that he actually runs a digital marketing or just marketing agency in New York City. So the fact that he's a speaker and an author has come from his experience doing that. He's not just a speaker. So he has a lot of insight from data, not just
right.
musings.
But it's because he started his own, well, not started his own business, but maybe you can just give the...
So he started with his father's wine company. He worked there from when he was 15, and then after university got into doing Google ads for them. So then growing the company from $1 million or $2 million of revenue to $60 million by selling wine online, which was totally unheard of in the 90s. And then basically every decade he has done something that has never been heard of in the 2000s, or growing. He was one of the first people with 1 million followers on Twitter when people were making fun of Twitter.
Very cool.
Different things like that.
He's so insightful. Like Ryan's saying, from all of his experience, and then has all of this sort of forward thinking mentality. And he's also just a positive guy. So I think you'd like his content if you haven't already seen it, but you probably have because he's just so huge. Anyways, Gary Vee's amazing. I saw a TikTok from him that was talking about the difference between TikTok versus Facebook and Twitter. And he said that Facebook and Twitter are really focused, or were always focused on building your community within your own loops, your own friends, your own family. If you remember back in the first days of Facebook, it's always the Facebook request, right? You get that friend request, you accept it, and they can see your content. It's not just everyone can see everyone's public information. In the very beginning, it was very closed. I think you even needed an invite to get in, or you needed a university email address. Anyways, throwback, Facebook. And then Instagram in turn has also been like this. The way that the algorithm works for Instagram is you are shown to your friends the people you follow. The only place on Instagram where you really discover new people is the explore page. And they're trying to change this. They are trying to recommend new people based on your interests. But the big thing about why TikTok is really taking off, in my opinion, in Gary Vee's opinion in this video, is that they have really mastered their algorithm to feature content based on interests. It is not based on friends and who you follow. It's based on your interests. So if you are someone who, and this is all from Gary Vee, if you're someone who has certain interests and then you have just your friends and family watching, if you start to change your interests, if you grow, if you evolve, if you start getting interested in a new topic, your current audience might be very confused and not like your content anymore. And just because they follow you, it's because they know you. And then you're stuck. But with TikTok, they will feed you all of these new people and these new interests. What if in 2 years' time, your interests change? Well, your FYP and your content being shown to you is going to change too. So it changes and grows with you, which I think is a very exciting concept. So we got on this topic because of social media and how I think you can get reach on TikTok. I think leaning into your interests, leaning into what you love is a way to reach new people. And TikTok does that like no other app at the current present time. The algorithm is just so smart. I had someone's video show up on my FYP that was about something, I forget what it was about, but the only thing that spoke to me, it was about being Gen Z. It's like, I'm not Gen Z, but this showed up on my TikTok. And it was like, when you're the social media manager representing all Gen Z at your company and you show up in an everywhere belt bag and like drinking an oat milk latte. And it's like, this is so specific. Literally the words everywhere belt bag. I am sure that is why that showed up on my feed. And maybe social media manager, like, I like that kind of content as well. But I just thought it was so funny. Like, this was not a TikTok that face value you would think is intended for me. But because of that everywhere belt bag, Lululemon, here we are, 100% it's on my feed. So how to get reach on TikTok? Lean into your interests. Keep going with it. If you go viral, go with it if you like it. If you don't like it, change it up.
So I think this leads well into the next question here. Is it too late to become a Lululemon influencer? And how do you know if a specific niche is too saturated?
Right. So this niche that I'm in, Lululemon influencing, it is something that's grown from, honestly, I feel like Lululemon influencing, this affiliate program, I think it started in 2020, and I started trying to do it on Instagram. I think the whole concept of it being on TikTok has just blown up. And someone also asked this in my live earlier. They said, do you think that Lululemon's hype has been exaggerated, or not exaggerated, but the reason why Lululemon is such this coveted thing is because of the internet? And I said, well, in the past, Lululemon has not even used traditional advertising like TV commercials. You don't see them on TV like Old Navy. It's not even until this year I saw a first Lululemon advertisement on TV. I saw a commercial for the Blissfeel running shoe and it blew my mind because I had never seen Lululemon in traditional advertising methods. But I think that one of Lululemon's strongest advertising methods, honestly, is their community programs. The fact that they have a discount for fitness professionals, the Sweat Collective, it's word of mouth. And so this word of mouth that maybe it started with this Lululemon Collective and maybe they thought it would happen on Instagram. And I'm sure it does happen on Instagram. I'm sure there's lots of Instagram influencers that are already huge, that love Lululemon, and they share their love of Lululemon on Instagram, and that's why they're a part of the Lululemon Collective, etc. And maybe that's their full-time job. Who knows? But I feel like this whole concept of word of mouth for Lululemon and wearing the clothes, living in the clothes, has now translated to TikTok. Whether you are a Lululemon influencer specifically, or if you're just an influencer and you start to wear this viral belt bag, this viral dog backpack, this viral Align tank, this viral scuba hoodie. Like all of these items are going viral, but I really feel like it's this word of mouth that Lululemon has created, a community of people who are really enthusiastic about the clothing. And that's why it can go viral. The quality is also fantastic, of course. You know, I know that. We all know that. But that started on TikTok, and I feel like with this sort of viralness, I feel like the Lululemon Collective is something that maybe didn't even know that TikTok would be a thing. Like didn't know that this whole Define jacket would become a Lululemon TikTok trend. And because it has, more people are joining. And I love that. I think it's great. I think the more we talk about the things we love is a good thing. And for this, Lululemon, now I feel like we have more Lululemon influencers who are starting on TikTok and creating accounts about Lululemon, as opposed to Instagram. I think they were already established on Instagram, the bloggers or vloggers or Instagram influencers who are a part of the Lululemon Collective. I feel like they didn't start on Instagram, but now people are starting on TikTok, and
like they didn't start
they're following
by talking about Lululemon.
Yes.
Yeah.
They didn't start their accounts surrounding it around Lululemon. The people who are doing that are the people from TikTok. And I feel like I'm one of the first people to have done that. And I'm not saying I'm the only person to have done that. I was also inspired by other people who talked about Lululemon. So it's all word of mouth. It's all what you see. It's all, like I said, based on interest and what's going up on your feed. So all of this conversation is leading to, is there still space for new people to join? I think that social media is a way of expressing yourself. And I think that if you love Lululemon and you want to start a Lululemon content journey, you want to start an account, maybe you aspire to also do Lululemon influencing, I say there is room for everyone, because Lululemon is just one facet of your life. Yes, it's the clothes you wear every day if you're like me. Maybe it's a collection. Maybe you collect all of the Align tanks and you love all the colors like me. But it's just one aspect of your life. And if you think about your social media as an expression of who you are, no one can be exactly you. So even if you feel like stuck, cookie cutter, Lululemon account, there's so many other accounts, I'm not adding anything special to this. You just have to add yourself to it. And I feel like there's so many people out there who maybe are afraid to start something like this, or maybe they're shy and not confident. And that's okay. Like, starting little by little, anything you want to put out there, if you feel like it's true to you, if you feel like it's not just copying some other large creator, then that's special. And I'm not saying you should copy large creators. You should not copy anyone else exactly what they are doing. But if you are inspired by them, and especially if you're doing something inspired by and you want to give them credit, that's also a great thing. I know that is a new feature on TikTok. I have not had this feature, but some people have been given the feature where you can credit like a dance credit to someone who has created a dance. And
like as a specific
function of TikTok.
Video?
Yes.
Cool.
I know, and that's the thing. I haven't seen it circulating. I haven't had the update on my app, but I do think that there was an article about it, about TikTok trying to promote their creators in the way that you can give credit to people. So I think that is really important. But of course, we all put our own spin on things. So I think there's space in this community. And if you feel very stuck, just look back at yourself. You are your niche. And I know that's a common phrase now. I feel like everyone said, niche down, do just one specific thing. If your thing's Lululemon, it has to be Lululemon, and that's it. And that's how you'll grow. But if you do that, then it's just Lululemon, and you do maybe fall into the trap of feeling like you're copying everyone, and maybe you don't feel like you're original and you're yourself. So my thing to say would be yourself. Why do you love wearing Lululemon? Why do you love the colors that you wear? A lot of people have collections that look completely different to mine. I know so many people are neutrals people, and they have a whole neutral lifestyle. And I love that. I love vibrant colors. Here I am sitting in my Sonic pink onesie. And that's why mine looks like jewel tones. So many bright colors in my closet. So if you think about clothes as an expression of you and your personality, your social media is an expression of you and your personality. But that's not all. So share more of you. And I think that the community, there's always room for more.
So I was sitting here listening to what you're saying about like insert yourself into this and make yourself kind of a niche of one. I was trying to think of examples of this. And one thing that popped into my head was, I think it was something that Gabby had said, that something to consider with Align pants is if you're going to be sitting at a desk all day at school or at work, you might get like rubbing or the pilling because of that. And like talk about, I am currently at a day job, but I love wearing Lululemon. Here's how I incorporate it. Here's the things to look out for. Or maybe you're in school and you have a uniform. You're like in Catholic school or private school or something where you have a uniform. It's like, how can I incorporate? It's like I wear a white Align tank underneath and that makes me comfortable and feel active. Or maybe you have to walk to school and that can be a part of it. I feel like so much of the Lululemon advertising is about specific sports and activities.
Yes, like we said earlier, that Lululemon has function for all of their fabrics. All of their designs, whether it's the Lululemon Lab and they're being experimental, or it's the hiking collection, or swimwear, or yoga collection. It's all really focused on an activity. Some items are more technical than others, but that's what I love about Lululemon, that their clothing is functional. But it's also fashionable, in my opinion.
Yeah, but if your activity or the thing that you're doing doesn't fall into one of those categories, it still can be like adapted to what you're doing.
Right. And this is also to say, if you are interested in Lululemon and the Lululemon Collective, you also don't have to have a full account about Lululemon. I'm encouraging you, of course, if that is what you want to do. I don't want to discourage you from it, but you can do other things and still incorporate this sort of Lululemon lifestyle into what your other interests are. So don't be afraid to sort of expand and just see what resonates with people.
Can you talk about the difference between Lululemon creators and influencers and Lululemon ambassadors?
Yes. So I'm a part of the Lululemon Collective. You hear me say that a million times. Shop with my link. But that is the program that is really just digitally focused. The Lululemon Ambassador program is usually just store specific, and it's really about being there in person. So getting to know the staff at a certain store, that might be the kind of relationship that leads to you becoming an ambassador. You being a leader in your local area. So if you own a studio, if you are a teacher, a fitness instructor teacher, if you are just involved in this, hashtag sweat life. If you are involved and you also have a local Lululemon store that you start to form a relationship with, that might be where you become an ambassador. But a Lululemon Collective influencer is just purely digital. I don't have any personal connections with a physical store, but I do go into stores a lot, and I'm not opposed to being an ambassador as well. As a fitness instructor, that's definitely an option. I would be very interested in becoming an ambassador. If anyone is
listening.
If anyone's listening, Lululemon, are you listening? But if anyone is listening, I do love that aspect. And this is obviously I would love that opportunity, but this is why. Because the ambassadorship, again, is in person. And this is the kind of relationship with a store where you might be teaching classes in their space. If it's an experiential store, you might be teaching classes in their event space or their yoga studio, whatever it is. And that's the kind of activity that is so fun, that is very different than the influencing that I do. So I think of them as just two completely different jobs, and both are very exciting to me. But right now, I'm just loving being a part of the collective and doing this kind of content and working with you. You are my community. It's,
you meant me, and I was like, oh, thanks.
Oh, Ryan, and you, Ryan, and you, Ryan. But this community, it is digital, but you're real. You are real people. I'm speaking to someone, I'm speaking into a camera, but I know I am speaking to you right now because of all of the comments that I've received, whether it's on this podcast episode, whether it's on my TikTok, or maybe you've emailed me back when I sent a newsletter. Maybe you've texted me back, or we've talked DMs on Instagram. There's so many ways to reach me. And even though maybe I haven't taught you a class within studio walls, I do feel a deep connection with so many of you here. And I love that about having an online community. So I just want to keep going, and I just want to keep doing this content so that I can reach you here. And let me know in the comments if you also relate to that, where sometimes an online community feels so real to you that you might even have stronger bonds with friends that you have from the internet than you do with people in person.
What social network do you find most fulfilling?
I shared earlier about how I'm involved in social media. I have created content on Instagram. I have created content on TikTok, YouTube, and I don't know, I guess podcast, is that social media? I don't know. You kind of promote podcasts on social media or through social media like YouTube. But I would say the big ones I have the most experience with are Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Instagram's where I started. I find Instagram to be limiting because of what I said earlier. It is really just your friends and family and people you've found through maybe even other means. Like you meet someone in real life and then you connect on Instagram, or you just, cold call someone and send them a DM. But I find that Instagram is kind of limiting in that way. So while I enjoy sharing photos and it is fulfilling to have deep conversations in the DMs, I do really love that about Instagram. I find it only reaches a certain point, and then I don't feel like I can grow the community as fast, and it's just not somewhere to really grow and develop as much influence. If your goal is to develop your personal brand and find influence, it's not that you can't, but I just find it a little limiting on Instagram. But good for the relationships you already have. And maybe you've found the relationships, like I said, in the real world, outside, or from another app. So that's why it's less fulfilling for me for Instagram, because I just feel like I'm limited. I don't get to hang out with as many people. And then TikTok, I guess, or YouTube. Let's talk about YouTube. YouTube is fulfilling because I really feel like I can record something for a long time and then it lives there for a long time. So the functions of YouTube are different than short form video or Instagram, TikTok or Instagram. Because on YouTube, I feel like I can actually do a video that's like 40 minutes long or 60 minutes long, and someone might make it to the end of that video. And then I feel like I've really shared my content with you. And I've had some really nice conversations based off of the YouTube content that I just feel like I can dive a little deeper. So that's why I feel like YouTube is fulfilling. But if I'm ranking them, Instagram's at the bottom, then YouTube, and then TikTok. Because the biggest thing about TikTok for me is, this is so meta, and not that kind of meta, not Facebook meta, but this is meta because we're currently going live right now on TikTok. And that's my favorite thing about TikTok. I absolutely love TikTok lives because I feel like I get to know everyone in the chat. And it sounds silly, but I really try my best to learn your name if your name is not what your handle is. Or if your handle is fun, then I will just say your handle. Evil breadstick, I'm looking at you. But I will try sometimes if your handle is something that is not your first name. If I ask you what your real name is, I try my best to remember it. And then I know when you pop into the chat what your name is, because I can recognize your profile and I see you pop in and I know you've got a question or I know you've got something to say. And I love that because I feel like I know you just that little bit more. I would never get that if it was just through the comment section, because you're not getting that live chat. You're not getting to respond like you're having a conversation with someone. It's like writing someone a letter versus like having a phone call with someone. So I feel like TikTok lives are so fulfilling to me because I feel like I'm having a phone call with all my friends. And I feel like I'm having a Zoom party or something. And yes, TikTok is so fun because of the features. I can do video, and video is just more engaging than photos. And video is really great too for like continuing stories. So if you have a story and then you want to comment on it and then you do a reply video, that is a really cool feature of TikTok that I think is super engaging and a way to sort of continue a conversation. And then, like I said, TikTok lives. They're just my favorite.
Yeah, and as someone who watches lives more, so I've got some friends that do live streaming, and then there's people that have bigger followings that I also watch their live streams, and it does feel like that on the other end as well. If you're someone that's commenting and then the person replies back, it does feel like a conversation.
Yeah, like Anna is here in the chat right now. You're going to get a shout out on the podcast, Anna, because she says she won't forget that we talked about her username being Taylor Swift inspired, because it was Anna's version, and I didn't know that that was her name. And so I was like, wait, I have to ask you your username, because if you comment in the chat enough, I will know your name. But again, if it's just the username, then I don't know. So it always helps out. And then, if it's something like a reference, I love names that are unique, right? It's like you chose your username for a reason. My username is JK McKay, and I feel like everyone thought I was being sassy about it because JK is just kidding. But my middle name is Kaylee with a K. So it really is Jess Kaylee McKay, JK McKay. But it just sounds like I'm trying to be sassy or a joke or something. But someone might be like, what's your name? JK McKay. And you can call me JK McKay if you want. But it's fun to know that my name is also Jess. So I don't know. I just love TikTok. It's so fulfilling because of the personal connection that TikTok lives gives me the opportunity for. And this is to say, you can live stream on different apps. You could live stream on your Instagram. You could live stream on your YouTube. You can live stream on Twitch. And I know so many people who Twitch is their number one place to be because that is the live stream app. But for me, I have found community on TikTok. So I'm just rolling with that, staying with my friends. And if we grow and we go to another app, like we grew to YouTube, we've grown and we're doing this podcast now on YouTube. But I'm still live streaming on TikTok. We're not live streaming on YouTube. So I guess that's another tip I have. If anyone's wanting to start, find the app that you are obsessed with, because you're going to make more content if you're obsessed with it. You're going to make better content if you're obsessed with it, because you're also going to be absorbing and learning and being inspired by the community.
I think we have 2 more questions here. So how much time do you spend creating content in a day?
Oh my gosh. And this is a no judgment zone. We said that earlier. But I will say that it depends on the day. So sometimes if I don't have any sort of IRL tasks to do, I will have more time to create content that is original, or even just like trend videos, but I will have more time to do that. If I have more priorities in my day, like teaching a class, or like today we had to take Phoebe to the vet. She's okay. She's just getting a checkup after her space surgery. But if I have more tasks outside in real life, I try and document my life on those kinds of days. And so sometimes you'll notice on my feed that maybe one day I've made 10 TikTok videos. That's probably a day where I did not have errands to run, specific jobs to do, or jobs for other companies. Like I said, we do content for other companies. So on those days, I might just have like a really fun day in the life video. Or I may have sort of like a roundup. Oh, look, we went to a show this evening. Come with me to see a Broadway show. So those are the days where I just don't have the time. And that's also kind of the question we had about how do you turn off creator life versus real life? And I think it's just directing like what type of content do I produce in a day? Is it more the document style? Those are the days that are busy and real life took over. Or creator life? Those are the days where I have more time. So how much time do I spend? What do you think, Ryan?
I'd say probably minimum an hour a day, because you do at the end of the day at least have to spend maybe 15 minutes or so doing the day in the life.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then you usually do an outfit. But a lot of these are, it's difficult because you record quickly.
Yes.
But then maybe you have to add a bunch of text, or
Right.
you need to like tweak it and perfect it. So like it might take 5 minutes to do a 10-second clip. Oh.
The camera died.
As I was saying, your videos can take like 5 minutes to record, or get recorded all the way to posted, or sometimes because of things surrounding it and tweaking, it can take like half an hour to do one video. So I feel like even the output of a day might not indicate how much time you've put into it.
Right. It's deceiving, but not in a way that is meant to be deceiving. It just happens to be deceiving.
Unintentionally.
Unintentionally deceiving how long you spend creating content. The other thing I will say is that we work for Doggy Bathroom as content creators for TikTok. I also forgot to mention that I help out. I'm a content assistant for my Bar 3 studio. So all of the reels that you see on Bar 3 West Village on Instagram, most of them have been filmed by me or edited by me, or it was an idea from me. And I've just been helping with that since I started working at Bar 3. So that is one way where we do either trending audio or original ideas based on whatever we're doing. But what I was going to say is if you're a content creator and you have a personal brand you create for yourself, that's amazing. If you also work for other companies, you are sort of flexing the same muscles when it comes to trends or even original content. And I will explain. So if you are creating content for yourself and you're following certain trends, it's a trending audio. If it applies to the business that you're also working for, use it. Because if it's trending and it's successful on your own account, think of that as an experimentation. It went well. Try it on your brand's account. Try it for your job. If you are a UGC creator, that is something a lot of people are talking about these days, that people are like, I just quit my job to become a UGC creator. And that is user-generated content. So that is when you are creating content specifically for other brands, but not posting it on your social channels. So if you're someone who is creating your own content, testing it on your own, use it. That saves you time. That allows you to, maybe you're looking up different trends and you're using your time wisely because you're also using those trends where else it applies. Second part, original content. Ryan and I have done a lot of experimenting over the last 3 years with social media and what captures attention. Something that Ryan and I have noticed is if you ask a question asking for opinions, options 1, 2, 3, or 4, people get really excited in the comments to answer. Of course, what you're asking is going to influence how many people are interested in it. But Ryan started this on his Pokemon TikTok. Ryan has a Pokemon dedicated TikTok and Pokemon cards, basically. But he used to do, let's make a Poke deal. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, it was just that I had all of my vintage Pokemon cards and I would show 3 options of cards flipped over usually and say, which do you think is the best card? Like maybe worth the most if you went to sell it online or something. And one, it worked really well because it was 4 pieces of content from one. I would do like each reveal as its own video. But then, yeah, I sort of was inspired by Jess's Help Me Pick My Outfit, which just gives people a super easy way to comment. And if you have a bunch of comments on your video, then it gets showed to more people. And it's a great cycle to get into.
So that is something that we created, original content, but we spun it in our own direction. And we found that people really enjoyed interacting with it. So this is like finding actual engagement. And a lot of people talk about the term engagement and they're like, oh, engagement, it's the rate of how many people like, comment, share your content versus like how many followers you have, like what your engagement rate is. And there's lots of different ways to think of it. But when I'm saying engagement in this moment right now, I'm just referring to actual engaging video that inspires people to start a conversation, whether it's in the comments or it's sharing it, etc. So this is the kind of thing where if you come up with original ideas and original series, you can also produce that for yourself, for other TikTok accounts. If you are someone who is a social media manager, I think it's a really great exercise to always have your own account. If you are someone who is in social media and you're a social media manager, I just think it's a great way to experiment, see if this original content idea works across different platforms. And that is something that it sounds like a lot of work. I'm saying all these things like you need to do 10 different things, but it's all experimentation until you find what works. And if you can recreate that with a brand's account, with your own account, you start a new account. Ryan started a new account, and he is also playing around with what it's like to start a new account and finding a new community. So I think this was, how long do you spend on content in a day? That was the question. But I think you can save time by not repurposing your specific content, but repurposing your techniques, if that makes sense.
Okay, our last question here, I think it's going to be a good one. What is the hardest part about being an influencer, and how do you move past judgment of posting and just go for it?
Ooh. I feel like we talked about this on the confidence episode, my first episode. But I think, okay, to go back to that episode, I think I said something about starting small. So with confidence, I always think start small. If you feel confident because you put on an article of clothing, roll with it. If it's your favorite top, if it's your favorite pant, if it's your favorite shoe, if it's your favorite sock, and it just makes you feel good, go with it. And then you can grow from there. Same thing with social media. If the thought of talking into your camera is very scary and you're afraid to post, start small. Maybe it's doing a little like get ready with me video and you do just short clips. And this is what I was going to say actually about the previous, in the previous answer, I was going to say, yes, the questions that Ryan and I ask, option 1, 2, 3, or 4, that's one technique. But another thing, Ryan's been playing around with stop motion as a technique. We've been playing around with transitions, getting inspired by other creators and seeing different ways you can do different film editing. So I think that if you are someone who is nervous to show up on camera and speak to the camera, just know that you don't have to do that starting off the bat. You can do things, like I said, Ryan, we're experimenting stop motion and just have fun with it. And if your transition sucks, who cares? You're trying it out. And I know it's hard because maybe that is anxiety producing and you have like a writer's block, but for video. But I think if you find that one thing that is possible, that one thing that is comfortable for you, try that. And then you can add on more. And maybe it's like I do my day in the life videos and I always narrate them, but maybe that narration is like too stressful and you would rather just do it to music. I love that. Go for it. If you are looking to do an outfit of the day video, but you don't feel confident yet wearing the clothes and doing a video of you wearing them, do a video of the clothes. Do a video of the screenshots from Lululemon's website. There's lots of different ways to sort of start getting into social media, start getting into posting. And I'm just using Lululemon content as an example, but there's so many different ways. For us, Ryan and I, we started really posting on social media through our dogs. We used cute puppy photos. Who doesn't love cute puppy photos? But that helped us to meet new people. But yeah.
Yeah. And for my account, you were saying I've started a new account, which is about electric cars. And we don't own an electric car, but I can still do green screen backgrounds with new cars. I can do videos that have a bunch of text over top of them explaining the different features and things like that. So yeah, I'm doing that exactly. I'm, yes, showing up with my face, but it wouldn't have to be. I could do text to speech. I could do just the photos and the text, and it would be just as valid.
I love that. But yeah, also finding friends that are interested in the same kind of thing that you're interested in. And I'm not saying like, oh, Ryan's interested in electric cars, so he should find friends that are interested in electric cars before he starts a community. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying if you have friends or people that you're surrounded by who are sort of anti-social media, I do find that is stressful. And I'm not saying to cut off relationships, but don't feel like you have to report back to certain people in your life and say like, oh, I made this video. Like, I hope it's okay. Like, I know you don't like these things, but I made it. It's like, no, just do your thing. And if someone around you feels like social media is dumb, let them think that and then in a year's time, when you found so many new friends, or even you found one amazing friend, you won't even be thinking about that comment from your other friend.
Well, that's all the questions that we had.
There was one more question.
Oh.
I forgot to write it down.
Okay.
Sorry to drag this on, but I hope you're enjoying this conversation as much as I am. I hope, Ryan, you're enjoying it too. But one of the questions we had from the live, I forgot to write down, was what not to do to become an influencer. And I think this is also kind of a conversation related to are there too many influencers in my niche? Should I be an influencer? Are influencers dead? According to Emma Chamberlain, huge influencer creator. The irony there is just so interesting to me. Influencing's dead, but you should use my link. 100% what her podcast and her videos are about. But, and no hate, but what not to do as an influencer. I think if you are targeting a certain company that you want to have a long-term relationship with, I think that you should sort of educate yourself in the company, know what that company likes, dislikes, what is their what are their core values as a brand? And even maybe aesthetically speaking, like if you know that there's a brand you love and they are sort of a bright, sunshiny, bright colored brand, maybe your content sort of falls into that. Or if they're, more subtle, falling into that yourself as well. And not to lose yourself in their brand, but just as a way to sort of say, hey, like I'm on your level, this is my vibe, and I think your vibe fits with my vibe, and I would be a great representative of your company through influencing. So again, if that is Lululemon, know that Lululemon is all about, what do you wear the clothes for? What do you wear the clothes for? So I think that that's something important to think about when you are wanting to be an influencer, not to go against their brand values, because at the end of the day, they're not going to choose you for a sponsored post or any kind of content or as an influencer if you're going against what they stand for. So I think that's important. Find the companies. If you are wanting to do influencing, I assume that means you want either brand sponsorships, or you want affiliate links, or you want some kind of relationship with them, and then you spreading the word of that company. So align with their values if they are the values you appreciate. And yes, it's important to tag them to see if you can sort of get their attention, but don't feel like you have to tag them in everything. I think that's something for me. Like I tagged Lululemon and they'll comment on my videos. And in the beginning, I had them reach out to me after a few videos that got their attention, but I don't even think I necessarily tagged them. It might have been a hashtag. It might have been just the content showed up on their feed because it was Lululemon related. So I want to challenge you to try and attract a vibe, try and attract a brand through your content, as opposed to just using the tags as the only way. Sometimes I have seen influencers post about something that they didn't think they were going to be an influencer for, and then people tag that brand in the comments and it blows up and it goes viral, and that's how you get the attention. It's not always because you're asking for approval from a brand. Also, you can look up brand affiliates. You can look up certain third-party things like reward style that you can sort of apply to be an influencer for a bunch of different things. And those don't necessarily connect you with them to do specific brand partnerships, but you can do affiliate link influencing. So, yeah. Do you have any thoughts on that, Ryan? What not to do when wanting to become an influencer?
I think you covered it pretty well, that it's not about through what you do, you can sort of court a brand. But if that is your entire goal, your audience is not the brand. Your audience is your audience, and they have to be interested in what you're doing. Unless you're only trying to make stuff that the brand would repost and you're going for like that job.
Right. If you want to be a UGC creator and you just want to get really good at creating video or really good at creating content, that's another way.
Yeah, but still, even that, they probably would be more likely to repost something that has some personality to it.
Right. Don't lose yourself in an attempt to become an influencer. I think that, boom, there's my statement. Don't lose yourself in an effort to become an influencer, because you are you. And the reason why you become a leader in an industry, in a niche, is because you're you and not because you've just adopted some company's brand ideals. You didn't lose yourself to that brand, but you just align yourself with them. You feel their vibe, they feel yours, and your audience that you've created this community around will hopefully like it as well. But there are instances where some influencers love a brand, share it with their audience, and their audience is not receptive. Like, that absolutely has happened. I've seen it. I feel like we've done it before in different iterations of our social media presences. And yeah, it's not always a home run. So I think just don't be so hard on yourself. If you want to be an influencer, there is a difference between influencer versus content creator. Content creator does not necessarily mean you're creating content for yourself and you are influencing people through that content. Influencer really does mean that you're a leader. You are influencing people. What you say matters to people. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're just a brand's poster board either. That was a fun conversation. I like that. I think we're going to talk more about social media in the future. If you have any questions, if you want to learn more, let me know in the comments. Reach out to me, DM on Instagram, of course, TikTok. Please reach out to me by writing comments on my TikTok videos. And yeah, I'm looking forward to connecting more on this, and we'll talk about this more in the future. But let me know what you thought. And if you're shopping at Lululemon, don't forget to use my link. And I know it sounds silly, but this relationship that I have with Lululemon has come out of finding this community. So I really appreciate when you use my link. It means the world to me. And I know it might seem like a little thing. Oh, I'm just going to click Jess's link. But like we said, there's so many brands out there. There are so many brands. There's so many influencers as well. So just knowing that you are here and you're part of this community means so much to me. And I hope that you are feeling inspired if you want to start a social media journey, and can't wait to talk more about it. Till next time.